Hey,
Hey,
let me guess. You're reading Twitter threads on K-dramas.
not this time. I'm trying to figure out Tumblr.
Oh, how's that going?
It's a little confusing. And you know what? I'm not making much progress, so I think I'll come back to it later.
No, stop! You barely gave it a chance. Don't leave yet.
Oh, I wasn't planning on giving up.
Bah, everybody knows what I'll try later means.
No, seriously, I'm going to come back.
You know what you need? A guide. Take my hand.
You are so weird. Whoa. Hey, so Tumblr, a blogging site that basically spent a good chunk of the 2010s almost going out of business but never quite doing that. It's recently got very popular about how it almost went out of business, but a small community of mostly fan creators were just determined not to leave the platform, and so it just chugged along. Tumblr also got really lucky in that around 2019 it got acquired by Automatic, which also owns WordPress, and they didn't really want to do away with Tumblr. They didn't want to change it in any way. They just wanted it to be like its own little thing, which was great for users of Tumblr who wished things would improve but also didn't really want too many things to change. They certainly didn't want their site to become another social media trying to be this algorithm giant desperately vying for the attention of advisors.
Advertisers.
So how did Tumblr become a space for the K-drama community? If you think about it, it's not that surprising.
The same fandom communities who kept Tumblr alive from 2015 till date by posting about Homestuck, Merlin, Zuko, Raylo, Hulock, and a million other interests suddenly found K-dramas in the stay-at-home era. So, of course, they will go and post about their new love on the site that has been their safe space all along. Not to mention that some bloggers have been posting about Asian dramas on Tumblr for years, even when the fandom there was just a few dozen people.
A lot of K-drama viewers tend to be very analytical and they have a lot to say. Twitter is full of very active K-drama fans who love writing long threads of their thoughts on dramas they're currently watching. Tumblr isn't very different, except that instead of a long thread of tweets, they write really long rant posts, and a lot of them are very interesting. There is definitely some similarities and some dissimilarities between the two platforms, the primary being that Twitter fosters a lot more interaction between people, even strangers. With Tumblr, it takes a little more to engage. And I want to take you through the interface because I have been diving back into Tumblr recently. I don't know what the future of Twitter is, but even before all of the stuff that's happening right now was happening on Twitter, Tumblr suddenly cropped up in my horizon earlier this year when I was kind of trying to figure out where I should put these thesis-length essays I have in my head about dramas, and tweets were just a little too short, and Tumblr was suddenly like, come back to me and see what I have become. And it turns out that what Automatic did, they didn't actually drastically change Tumblr in any way. They just kept the algorithm very chill. It's become slightly easier to search through the site to find exactly the kind of content that you want, and overall it's just a very laid back space where if you already have a community that you can engage with, Tumblr is not going to try and push you towards a bunch of stuff that you have no interest in and get you involved in arguments and other people's flame wars. That's not what this site wants to do. Okay, so I'm just going to take you to my dashboard and give you a tour of K-drama Tumblr. So welcome to my dashboard. I have quite a bit of K-drama Twitter right off the bat, and I also have sheep meme.
انتوا حياتي امشوا ورايا.
That's right. And it's kind of like this weird blend of Instagram and Twitter, which I absolutely love. It's got some of my old fandoms and it's got a lot of my new fandoms. Just look at this. My God. Tumblr is a space for really pretty GIFs for most. And if you have a fandom that you specifically want to find, the easiest thing to do is just search Tumblr for it. Let's say I'm not looking for K-dramas. Let's say I'm looking for okay, so let us look for Love Between Fairy and Devil, and this is what you want. If you have a fandom you love, this is the first thing you should do. Go to search, just look for it. Let's say I want to look for If You Wish Upon Me. It's a space where you basically go when you want to relive all of the best moments of a show. And you're definitely going to be able to find people who are reliving it with you. The fact that Tumblr is foremost a blog really makes itself known in these spaces. When I joined Tumblr again, I hadn't posted anything on it for a good 3 years before Attorney Woo started, and I had a lot of thoughts. So I came here, and almost accidentally, one of the posts on my feed was a reblog from a friend who was also watching Attorney Woo, and once I started, seeing more content on Attorney Woo, they would just show related posts, and there would be like tons and tons of Attorney Woo posts. I was hooked because the GIFs were amazing, but also the artwork. The artwork on Tumblr is truly incredible. And I had a lot to say about Attorney Woo. I wrote this rant post about Kwon Minu that got some 700 plus notes. But just in general, I tend to find that people are a lot more willing to come to Tumblr and read your thoughts and truly interact with it. Basically, treat it like an actual blog. It does help if you have pretty GIFs to share. At this point, Tumblr is in this weird kind of a flux where just a few months back, people were talking about Tumblr dying, but now with Twitter kind of under siege and other social media becoming overwhelming for just general users who don't really have any desire to become content creators and are a bit tired of being content consumers, Tumblr feels like a safe haven. It's a space where you can go to and just talk about the things that you like with a small community of people who also like the same things. What I get out of Tumblr is not this ego boost for being a power user. I'm not one. Anytime I have a long thread building up in my head and I want to just put it out somewhere almost as a rough draft, kind of just to see what it shapes up to be, I do that on Tumblr. And I tend to find that somehow this space feels safe enough because I know that my post is not going to get randomly pushed out to people who might attach weird connotations to it. I don't know, I may be wrong, but it just feels like a smaller space. It is a smaller space and thereby a safer space than Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, oh my god. And so yeah, that's what Tumblr is. And also we want to use custom GIF sets and reblog other people's stuff and put our take on it. And sometimes these reblogs end up becoming these epic posts where the entire community comes together and contributes, and it's hilarious. And that's Tumblr. Very rarely does this seem to happen in other platforms in exactly this way. So right now I have a lot of affection for this space because it's so quiet and small. And I'll be honest with you, there are quite a few long-term Tumblr users who aren't really happy with this fresh new influx of people coming into Tumblr because that's giving Automatic these ideas that they can attract advisors.
Oh my god, it's advertisers! Why do I keep saying advisors?
So corporate accounts are starting to flood in and a lot of people are resisting. I am regularly reading posts about how Tumblr should just be made the most advertiser unfriendly space possible so that they stay out of this space. And I sympathize because being advertiser dependent has basically turned all other social media into these horrible marshes that are unpleasant to exist in. So they have my sympathy. And if you want to be on Tumblr, there is really only two ways for you to exist. You can either just create an account and never visit, or you can become a regular part of it. There is really no middle ground. This is not one of those apps where you can just like passively swipe and never get involved. If that is your modus operandi, you are likely to just stop using Tumblr. But if you are the kind of person who has a lot to say, or you want to actively be involved in the K-drama community in Tumblr, then come on in. The water is warm and comfy, and there aren't too many advertisers getting involved as yet. So, final words. This is a fun space. I know it might initially seem a bit confusing and intimidating, but look here. I mean, even the editing tools that they've given you are really, really cool. I mean, you can upload video, audio, you can just have a chat. I don't use this much, never mind. You can put up a link to something that you want to share. You can upload just a quote from a drama that you just watched and the quote really appeals to you. You can put a photograph, and this is the one that I use the most, which is the text one. Open up the editor, just put your essay right here, give it a title, or don't give it a title. Really, I mean, it depends on you. And the tags are the most hilarious thing. You can give serious tags like Alchemy of Souls. That's not a word. Or you can also put Jungkook should really be dead and ashes. But he's not. That's also a hashtag. Just have fun with it. Look at this beautiful GIF set from Flower of Evil. You can reblog it just like you retweet something, or add a caption and talk about what this scene makes you feel. It's really not that strange. You are familiar with these practices. You may even have been on Tumblr at some point. But what I hope you get out of this little guided tour is that this is a really funny, nice space, and the more you come here and more you follow these random accounts or these random hashtags of people that or characters that you just really, really like, the more your feed is going to be full of K-dramas, and you're going to meet and find out about new writers and bloggers. You're going to really love people who make incredible GIF sets that you would want to follow just for how pretty their work is, and some of these GIF sets are a work of art. And also just how incredibly creative and talented this community is. So I hope my enthusiasm has convinced you, and Tumblr doesn't seem that intimidating anymore. Bye!